Hi, guys. We are coming to you from 12 after 12 in DC, where we are later going to interview Anthony Atalla. And right now we have Dan Gray, and we are on the Wild Style
Hey, Jess.
Network, fueled by Monster Energy. Hi, Dan. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How
Glad to be here.
your party hardy today.
It's a fun night to be in the town,
It,
and this is a great place to be. So
and you were partying all day at Flash. I was partying all day
for a
here.
few hours, I was at Flash.
You were
Yeah,
going to support some friends.
yeah. Going to support some friends. Went
And
to see Abo, and but I wanted to come here, and it's going to be a great show tonight. And so,
and I was here for the Darty. It was thrown by Drinks in DC.
okay,
Bruce,
yeah,
we interviewed him,
yeah,
and that
yeah.
was super interesting. He's awesome. That was a
It
fun
looked like a
interview.
dope
No,
party.
he was a fun interview. He's wild. And he's thrown that for the last 3 years here at 12 after 12. And it was insane, guys. Like the amount of water, the amount of nice, clean debauchery that went on.
I
Nice,
could
clean
see the videos,
debauchery.
and I was like, it looks like
It,
it's a
it
lot of
was it
fun.
was
A lot of
it
fun.
was pretty crazy. It
Yeah.
was pretty crazy. We have some security. Somebody's in trouble back there. Somebody's in trouble. Anyway, we're going to interview in a bit Anthony and Tala, but I wanted to talk to you. You are going to be opening here for Dub Tiger next
I
week.
will. Yeah, next Saturday.
That's exciting.
It's
I'm
amazing.
super excited
I'm
for
super
you.
excited. It's gonna be a dope show.
And have you prepared?
Yes. Oh yeah. I'm ready to go.
And
It's
what
gonna
kind
be.
of beats are we going to hear from you, do you think?
It's. I mean, it's going to be a lot of energy. You have to sort of, keep the crowd captivated, interested to stick around. There's a lot of choices, around here, and you have to bring your A game and bring the energy to keep them here.
And
And
you're
so,
super dedicated only because we're friends and
yeah,
I talk to you offline. You're so dedicated to your craft. The fact that you prepared this set, like Jeff and I were listening to your goodie room
oh right,
set
yeah,
prior to coming here,
yeah,
and I was like, it was so good. So how this transpired was I was listening, like you sent this to me or I saw it,
right.
and I'm listening. I'm like, holy shit. And I sent it to Jason. And I'm like, this is true. Facts, right, Jason? I sent it to Jason. I'm like, are you hearing what I'm hearing or am I wrong? Am I wrong? And he's like, no, dude, that's sick. So,
Oh, that's
like,
awesome.
that's a huge compliment because
Yeah,
Jason, I feel like I know music, but Jason gets probably way more
yeah,
respect than
yeah.
me for knowing music. And he's like, a hearing same thing. So,
It's
how
hard to
did you
fake
get
it.
into it?
I've always, for a long time, I think I lived abroad in my early 20s, lived in Germany, and I got
Yeah.
really, I think, hooked on the house scene there.
Yeah.
And then I sort of had some distance from the scene for a little bit, and then I met Carrie, my partner, and she's, such a big
She's
house
awesome.
head and
Yeah,
such a
same.
raver.
She's a
And
lot like me.
so we were kind of kindred spirits in that sense. And
Yeah.
so I sort of rediscovered it through her,
Yeah.
and so the last like 3 years, it's just been kind of rediscovering that passion for music that I had, but I just didn't really touch it
Yeah.
in a long time. And then about a year and a half ago, I started to DJ, and I just was a bedroom DJ, and then you got hooked.
Bedroom
Yeah,
DJ.
and then
I
you
like
that's
it.
it, right? And
I
then
like it.
you get hooked,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I really love this, and it just you just really spend a lot of your free time or all your free time sort of
Well,
doing it.
I think that comes with passion, right? Like
Oh, you can't
with
fake it.
me with podcasts, with me with music.
Yeah,
You and I talk a lot about this because we are friends offline,
sure.
and I think when you are passionate about something, you're tired all the time,
Yeah.
but it's not work.
No,
I like you and I like I'll be like I'm so fucking
I know,
tired.
right.
And I'm like, but I love that I am because I love doing this and I love
Yeah, yeah,
doing podcasts
exactly.
and I love like Jeff
Totally.
will call me like network this and like thinking outside the box. So when you're doing your passion, I think you're just like I'm all in.
I
Even
think
if
so,
I'm
and you
tired.
let the music speak for itself. And I think there's an interesting phenomenon now where you have a lot of sort of influencer folks who are wannabe DJs as sort of because it for the gram or for the clicks. But you can tell, you can see right through it. You can see the music is just not there. And that's kind of a weird new phenomenon. But for me, I love the music and I play what I want to play, and I hope other people like it too.
Yeah.
And I think you can feel that genuineness.
I think you play what you want to play, but you also try to like I think as you navigate creativity, you do what you want to do, but then you're also looking at the feedback you're
Oh,
getting
sure,
or the
yeah,
vibe
totally,
or
yes.
like what Pierre was saying. You're
You have
like,
to read the
okay,
room.
I still want to be true to myself, but
Yeah,
I got to navigate a little bit this
absolutely.
way to
That's
do what they want to do.
100% right.
And I
Yes.
think that's part of creativity
Yeah,
anytime.
of course. I mean, you are your personality. You want your personality to be reflected in, I think, the music you're playing. But your personality is going to be different depending on what the situation is, and so
Yeah.
you can read the room. And if you're good, I think
Yeah.
if you have high EQ, you can be a very good DJ.
I think if you have high EQ, you can be very good
I
at
mean, you can be
anything.
everything. That's quite
Most
true. Yeah.
people don't
Most
develop,
people do not. No.
don't recognize. They do. They don't recognize.
That's
So recommendation,
that's
our
important.
psychology moment of the night. Recognize your emotional
That's right.
intelligence,
Yes.
right?
Very true.
It's very
Yes.
important.
Yes.
Um, so similar to you, I discovered this music when I was 11, and you referenced your partner Carrie, which I love because her and I kind of get questioned on my age, like, how are you doing this, blah blah, and we're around the same age, and it's like
Yeah.
I love vibing with her
Yeah.
because I'm like, we're outdoing 25-year-olds. I mean, in energy. I don't
Right.
mean
Yeah.
we're like whatever. We don't care how. Like at some point, you're just like, I don't give a shit how I look and this and that. We take care of
Yeah. Yeah.
ourselves, and
Exactly.
that's that.
Right.
But like,
Yeah.
we're like, it's all about energy, and I think that's
Totally.
what I love about this music culture is I think it brings unity. It's
Yeah.
ageless.
Oh, totally
It's
transcends age.
ageless,
It, totally.
and you bond with people you wouldn't bond with, but you truly bond with them.
Yeah. No, you find that common denominator between you and the other person is the music, and it transcends all that stuff. And it's funny when people start asking about things like age or something, like it's sort of like, oh, I don't know, like it never even
Yeah, it
occurred
never
to you. It
occurred
never
to you.
occurs because it's not like, oh, that's not even relevant. You know what I mean?
I also
No
think
longer
that's
matter.
a certain sort.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I think that
It is
people
true. Yes.
outage themselves.
Yes.
They're like, oh, I'm so old. I think it's
They
very
get in their head about it. They get in their head about it, and they get weird, like in their head, like should I be doing this or something, or
Well, I listen to people and they follow so many rules. Like, well, at this age, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, why? Who
right?
said so?
Yeah.
Like, so it's very interesting to me. And I think this music culture allows people a space that's
Yeah.
very, very timeless, very ageless. And I love that
Sure.
about this music
Yeah.
culture.
It's a big tent. Like it's a
It,
very very big tent.
it's huge. I love it so
Yeah.
much. I love it
I
so
know
much.
you
I'm
do.
just
Yeah.
like, oh
I
my
know.
God,
I
I love
know.
it every
Right.
weekend. Every
Exactly.
time I'm like, I need a break from it. And
Right.
I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I
I
don't.
know.
And I'm excited about tonight. I think Anthony's going to be
Oh, it's gonna be an
amazing.
amazing show.
And he
Yeah.
dropped a song last night, which we're going to talk to him about. Like, thank God you told me that because I'll be the first to admit
That's
I
a
didn't
great
know.
track. Yeah.
And you told me, and then I listened to it. I
Yeah.
played Jeff, and
Control.
Jeff's like, this is the type of
It's a dope
music I
track.
like. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yes.
It's a heater.
It's
a
a
good
really
track.
dope track.
Yep. It is.
Control. It's called Control, and we'll talk about that with him. But yeah, that was cool, and thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
I
Of
give you
course.
full props. Full
No,
props,
I
'cause
mean,
wouldn't have known.
like
I
that's
was
what
like,
I mean. That's what I do in my spare time. Is like, all right, what's the new music? What's
yeah,
the new
yeah,
music? Who's
yeah.
dropping what? And
Same. But like
Yeah.
I had
I just happen to be.
I
Doing
had
it.
zero
Right, I
spare
know, yeah,
time.
exactly. Right.
Zero spare time for it, and I
Yes.
was like, thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah. No
much.
worries.
I would have
Of
looked
course.
like an
Yeah.
idiot.
No.
What is one thing about you, off topic, that you don't think people would expect about you? Off topic,
I
anything,
don't
not
know.
music.
I speak Russian. That's weird.
That's
right?
crazy.
That's weird, right?
That's
yeah.
neat.
Yeah. Why would I do
Full?
that? Yeah, I speak Russian fluently. Yeah.
You live there though.
Yeah, I live there. Yeah, I work there and live there. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
How was
different.
that?
I mean, it's wild. I mean, it's different. It's very. So if you've ever lived in a foreign country, a lot of times it's Europe.
I have.
Yeah, so you lived in Europe, right? And
Yeah.
so I lived in Germany in my 20s, and I
lived in
remember living in
England.
Germany. Yeah, okay. And I remember in Germany thinking, wow, this place is very weird and different compared to America. And then later, I lived in Russia, and I was like, wow, Germany's like
Like America.
California. You know what I mean? Like West
Yeah.
Coast California somewhere, like Marin
Yeah.
County,
Yeah.
relative to Russia. I mean,
Yeah.
it is very, very different. People are very, very different.
I
and
look
it's-
at it as cold. Like it
Yeah.
looks cold to me and very gray.
A lot of times, yeah. I mean,
Is that true?
Yeah, but like a lot of places in the U.S. are kind of cold. I mean, I lived in Dearborn, Michigan for 4 years. A lot of times, like Michigan
Well,
can be kind
Anthony
of
is
cold.
from
and gray.
Detroit.
I know he's 313 guy, so which is cool. Like,
I mean-
so good. That's awesome. Like, it's a dope music scene there. So
Detroit reminds me. So I went to Printworks last March
Yeah.
in London. I was
Yeah,
fortunate enough to go. It's a Printworks closing party
Yeah.
with Adam Bear, which was truly, literally. I've been to clubs all over the world.
yeah,
Festivals all over the world. I will say BPM being favorite festival. Printworks was unmatched experience.
yeah, that's an
It
amazing
was
experience. That's so cool. You got to go.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
But going back to what you said, that's kind of what we were talking about. Something. Sorry, I lost my train of
Like
thought.
an age that transcends age and that kind of stuff. Like
No,
moving the crowd.
like just rustic,
Oh
probably
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Russian, like just crazy in bars and like
Yeah, yeah,
crazy like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's like, it's probably a very like industrial feel.
industrial.
Probably. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
Detroit. That's
yeah.
what I was thinking
Oh
of.
yeah, Detroit.
It
Yeah,
reminded me totally of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Detroit because
for
I was
sure.
like, this is like Detroit and London,
Yeah,
like a little mini city.
yeah, yeah.
Because people think Printworks is that one narrow line you
They
see
just think it's
that
with the
fits
TV.
six
Yeah, yeah,
thousand. By the way,
yeah, yeah.
six
It's
thousand
bananas. The
people. We
scale of
look at
it's
Echo
huge.
Stage and we're like, oh my God, 3,000
Yeah.
people, 6,000
No, it's
people.
insane. Yeah.
And it was massive.
Right.
It's massive. And the sound was incredible. It was just dope.
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's gone
I
forever.
know it's gone, but like everything else, they'll turn a new leaf, and they're already sort of that. What's the new place that they just replaced it with? I can't remember the name.
No,
of it,
they
but,
didn't replace it.
But
They
it's
sold
there's
it
like
out.
they sold it out, but isn't there like I can't remember what.
Well,
other
they're
people
opening another Printworks, and the permitting for
That's it,
London
yeah.
is super, super long.
Okay.
So they will eventually open. They're doing
Yeah.
one-off parties in the spot they're going to do it at, but yeah.
Yeah.
So Printworks is a bit of a ways
Yeah, it's a
off.
former IKEA, right? Where I think is where I heard it. It's like it's.
I don't
think-
know.
I can't remember.
I just know that they're shutting
Yeah.
down the current
Yeah,
place
yeah,
to
yeah,
condos,
yeah.
and it's very
Right, I
sad
remember
because
that.
Batman
Yeah.
was filmed there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well.
what's the best club you've ever been to in the country?
In the U.S., oh, in the U.S., I think I'm a big. I have to say Echo. I love Echo.
Really?
I love
Yeah.
Echo Stage. I do. Like it's
Echo's
there's
amazing. In
like
terms
the
of
best.
a big room club.
Sort of
yeah.
like that experience is like um I mean it's just there's something like unique about it. But I mean I think like we are so gifted here in DC with amazing establishments, and like
I think we're very lucky,
we-
luckier than people realize,
Yeah.
because if you went back to '97 when I first started partying here, it wasn't like the way it is now.
yeah
It, you didn't have like people like Jason MacArthur, if you don't know, is the savant of all music. Hi Jason, he's over here. And I mean this sincerely, like people like Jason and people who are his counterparts within DC
yeah
and what they've done for the music scene in
Well,
DC.
that-
They
that's what
don't I don't realize people don't realize how lucky they are, because we're so
this is
lucky.
this is an amazing place right here.
It wasn't like this.
No, like this is an amazing place, and people like Jason who've created such a culture here of house music, and there's a lot of strong independent names here.
Yeah.
Who like we're lucky to have it. I mean, so I was getting this like
we didn't have Jeff, would you say? I know you're off camera, but we didn't have this music in DC going back to 1997, 98. People
no.
weren't coming here.
And so like
fair enough. It was at Centerville. No, it wasn't.
but like
no,
I'll
it
get
wasn't.
but I'll get in arguments with people.
But it was the Shark Club, but you didn't have the names.
But I will get in arguments with people from Florida, from Miami, in the West Coast, and I'll say,
DC is, with you guys.
that's what I say. So they're like, they want to say, space is. I'm like, I like space. Space is good, but like,
I love space.
but
it's closed now for
yeah,
summer.
exactly. But like, but it's for me, like places like this, we have such a strong independent, house community here with a lot of venues, and like really good venues. This is a really good venue, and
Oh, 100%.
and so like,
I mean, this place will go pop off tonight.
oh, it's gonna be insane.
It's going to be insane.
But,
And
like,
it always is.
yeah.
It's the only place I
but-
black out
But
at.
like we have a the premier place in the world, and we have amazing independent clubs. Like I love the DC club scene.
Yeah. I give Jason, Antonis, Pete, Glow,
Yeah.
New Androids,
Yeah.
such props for the way they've cultivated music in DC
Yeah.
over the last 20
Yeah.
years, because we did not have this. You had to travel to get this sort of music,
Yeah.
these sort of DJs.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't here. And I feel like Fur was the first time that were you here during Fur, Carrie? I think Fur was the first time you really saw those really big names start to come into DC. and then obviously
Oh,
Fur
right.
closed, and then it Echo.
Dream,
I feel
yeah.
like Dream did, but not the caliber of Fur. I don't feel like it got the caliber of Fur. Fur took it definitely to the level it's at today, and the way the culture shifted. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and we thank those people. But anyway, next weekend, and we're gonna go to break really quick. Next weekend, you will be here. What time's your set time?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. We're gonna go to a Flash real quick. I am, and then I'm gonna come over here, see your
Bring the people
set. We're
here.
gonna
Bring the
talk
people from
to
Flash to come over here. That's right.
of course, duh. Frankie and Julio will be there. You know
Good.
they'll have half of Flash here by the end of the night.
I hope so. Yes, they are very good at that.
And hopefully we'll have Anthony when we come back. And we're going to take a quick break. Thank you guys. Tune back in. And we're going to talk to Anthony and Tella on the Wild Style Network from 12 after 12. Fueled by Monster Energy. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Jess. All the best.
We're going live. Just keep talking.
I'm serious. I was like, what the fuck?
Hi, guys. We are here at 12 after 12 with Anthony ATALLA, and we're just going to keep laughing because we're laughing. We're here on the Wylde Style Network, fueled by Monster Energy, and thank you, Anthony. We're dying because Jason MacArthur, who runs this whole conglomerate, debaucherous, amazing mess, which was crazy today. We came to the Darty earlier. This was Jason. He left Anthony here one night. We're talking about Anthony. Tell us the story.
He always leaves me here.
He leaves you. What a deserter. I'm mad at him too.
He knows I'll play long sets. Seriously, I always play super long sets, and he knows this. And then it starts out with, "What do you want to drink?" and gives me a beer, and then gives me I know his whole.
It's
plan.
like a whole
And
plan.
he gives me Red Bull vodka, and then he comes up and does the lights and puts a bottle of Jameson in the booth. And then every time I play her, I'm sitting here talking to the staff. Everyone's gone.
Are you hammered?
I don't really get hammered. I pretty much stay the same the whole time, right?
So it's funny. I've been partying.
I'm always like very even.
I've been partying in DC since I was 21. I won't say how old I am now. Not 21 for sure. And every time I come here, I don't black out anywhere. I'm like, good. I'm like, I'm going home. Here, I'm like, done. I'm like, what did you give me?
Yeah. Is this thing real?
Yes, it's real.
Is
It's
this
live.
A prop?
No, it's talk.
This
It's
is
going.
the-
We're live on Facebook. We're live on
I mean,
Kick.
that's fine. I just want to know if the microphone's real.
It is.
It's the lightest microphone ever.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you pick this up at a
No,
Toys R Us or
No.
something?
Yes.
Yes.
Jeff, did you get these at Toys R Us?
They're
He
so
said.
light.
They're so light.
Anyway, yeah.
No, they're actually a lav mic inside of that. Pull the screen off.
Let's play with it. Let's take the mic condom off.
Oh.
Oh, sucky, sucky. Oh, wow. What's happening? What's happening?
What kind of interview
What's
is this? She's like, sucky, sucky. I'm like, what's behind that door right there? What's about to happen?
Nothing that amazing, trust me.
Pornhub? Did you guys?
Who knows? Who knows?
The hell is going on? Yeah, but anyway, he always leaves me every time. Like I keep getting fooled.
And you said you were here with the bartender.
I was just listening to some classic rock too. I was just listening to The Who on the way here. Don't get fooled again. I swear to God, I was just listening to that song. That's him and I's theme song.
It was so funny. I
Fooled.
was talking to someone today, and they're like, "What'd you get ready to today?" I'm like, "The '80s." Like the 80s music, and they're like, yeah, but you're here for techno and house. And I'm like, oh, it's my favorite music, but I still love the 80s.
70s classic rock. That's what I
There
listen
you
to
go.
before I come out.
I love it. I love it. Me too.
I swear. Yeah.
I won't tell you what
switch it
else
up.
you'll make fun of me. Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. I love my Taylor.
Yeah, everyone loves Taylor.
I love her.
Everyone loves Taylor.
My motto is techno, house music, and Taylor forever.
Okay.
Forever.
I think this is it. It sounds like an interview about you.
No, it's about
Instead
you,
of an
babe.
interview-
She did
Maybe I
say,
should-
hold on, wait, we want to know your birthday. We
No.
want to know your birth.
Tribe Called Jess.
That's
I
my
love it.
podcast.
Cool. I love it.
When is your birthday?
I just had a birthday. I'm May 7th. 21 again.
He is a Taurus.
I am.
We were
All
guessing.
all my best friends are Tauruses too. I don't believe in that shit. Excuse me. Am I allowed to
A
cuss
little
on
bit,
here?
yeah,
Okay.
100%.
I don't.
say
That's what I'm saying. I'm actually like making fun of myself. Is that I don't believe in astrology. It's like.
So
It's-
earlier, Rachel goes, he's so cool, but he'll call you out on your shit. So you just kind of called me out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's Aquarius or Capricorn. Jeff's a Taurus. He goes, no, he's probably a Taurus. And you're a Taurus. Jeff's
so
a Taurus.
all my best friends are Tauruses. I want to be like, I don't believe in it.
Yeah, but it's kinda true.
But my two best friends are one is Jason is born on the same day as me, and Eric is born 3 days before us.
Oh, wow.
And they're not even in the industry at all, which is great.
Great, right.
And we have our own like friendship and lives together outside of my
That's
my
awesome.
career. I mean, they come to my shows.
Which I think
and
you
they're
need,
very-
right? I
Yeah,
think in
yeah.
this industry, you need grounding.
Yeah, well, that's what I was actually just going to get at. We actually, the big thing that is the fuse. I mean, we're obviously really good friends and we get along perfectly, but the fuse that holds us together is our love for nature. And
I heard you love hiking.
yeah, I do tons of hiking. I'm a big outdoorsman, and me and Eric and Jason, my two best friends, we go on 2 hiking trips a year. One for our birthday in May.
Where?
And then, I mean, we've done it every year. So the story is, without trying to get too involved, but
No, do it.
When
Who cares?
I moved to Chicago, we all used to live in Michigan. We used to live in
You're
like,
from
the
Detroit. So for the audience, you are from Detroit, which I love for the
Yeah,
music
yeah.
part of this.
Yeah, I know. I'm like
Um,
Detroit and Chicago are my 2 home bases, which is kind
And
of cool.
Chicago
so.
is the other,
Yeah.
you got Green Velvet and
Yep.
all those amazing people coming out of
Yep.
Chicago.
Chicago's the birthplace of house music. Sure. Yeah.
Green Velvet is my love.
Yeah.
My
He's
first love.
amazing.
But go ahead. Proceed.
Yeah. So when we all started when I left, I kept trying. Oh, that's my phone. Oh, that's your phone. We have the same ringer.
Whoa.
The only person I know that has that weird ass fucking sci-fi
Scott.
ringer.
That's why we're
Scott.
That's why I thought it was mine. Do you hear me? I go, my phone. Shit, I didn't turn my ear. Okay, anyway. So when I left, I've been trying to get them to come on a hiking trip with me because I was kind of a big outdoorsman. Eric is a big kite surfer.
Nice.
Jason was a big surfer. So we all did our own thing, and I was always trying to get them to come hiking with me. They were more water sport guys. They finally came hiking with me in 2014 on a trip to Big Sur, which is Central Coast,
Nice.
California, anyone
Nice,
that doesn't know. And we made a pact on the top of this one trail. Then we're smoking a joint. We're like on an outcropping 2,500 feet above the sea. Our feet are kicking off, and we all made a pact that we would do it every year for our birthday to make sure that we all
awesome.
stayed together because life just takes you in different
It
ways,
does.
right?
It does.
And so we did it every year, and then in 2018 we were in Oregon, and we made a list of everywhere we wanted to go, and we're like, we're never going to get all this done. So we decided we have to do it twice a year. So now we do it twice a year, every year. Once in the fall, once in the spring, we go on a trip. Our recent trip we just went on last month was in Madeira, which is an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It was mind-blowing.
I think being intentional is super important in life, and that's intentional.
Sure,
I like
absolutely.
that. I dig that.
And back to the nature thing, it's like besides my family, obviously, and my best friends. I mean, one of the most important, if not the most important relationship in my life, even though it's metaphorical, is my relationship with nature because it does keep me incredibly grounded. This industry is amazing and it's fun, but it'll chew you up and spit you out if you let it.
Oh, yeah.
And so that relationship with nature, there's nothing in the universe that can make you feel so small but so alive at the same time. And I love that humbling but uplifting paradox that it gives you. And so it's very, very important. I think it's a very important vein to the fortitude and the longevity that I've had in this industry, in this career.
And I would agree with that. And I think what I like that you use is humbling. I like that you use grounding. I like the EQ here, emotional intelligence. Would you say that when you talk to other DJs that are up and coming in the industry, because I look at people like Laid Back Luke, who does a lot with the young DJs to make sure that they stay on this grounded path. Do you pass that along? Because I like
if the energy's there, yeah. I mean, yeah, but it has to be organic.
Yeah.
I'm not out, beating a drum for anybody to live their life in any certain way. I think all the most successful relationships in life are the ones that happen organically, that you don't have to define. They just are. The natural inertia that you have within those palpable relationships that are organic are you don't. They go without saying. And so those types of people that I do have that spiritual and emotional connectivity with, I definitely do pass that along. There's, I just had an awesome phone conversation with this young up-and-coming guy from the Orlando area. His name's Gallo. He's played on a bunch of Insomniac events and everything like that. He's releasing, shout out, dude. He's releasing a bunch of music, really great music. He has a release coming up on Incorrect, and we got on the phone the other day.
Real quick, Incorrect is your label.
Yeah, Incorrect is my record label.
Yes.
Yeah. And we got on the phone the other day just to talk about his tracks and the mix down and the advice that I had, and we ended up having I don't even know how long conversation just about life and everything. So when something like that happens that's organic, then for sure. And then, I definitely want to look out for those types of people, and I'm rooting for those people. You should want people to succeed in life. I think that getting yourself caught up in hate and wishing others to do poorly, all you're doing is wasting your own energy. The most precious commodity that we have in this life is our time. So why are you going to spend that time thinking negatively about somebody else? I mean, every breath is a memory, so you have to live your life with urgency. Even the snap of my fingers is gone forever. Why would you spend that time hating on somebody?
First of all, I love that, because anybody here, and I think on my podcast, would know that I find that I think I word it different. I love your lyricism with words almost. I do. I love it, and I completely agree. I think that humility in our time and just energy, who we project energy to, and who we use it on,
absolutely,
and how we discover how to do that, I think is a path too. I think that comes with age. I do think that comes.
It comes
with
with
age.
failure. You know,
And
there's
failure.
the one thing that I can promise anybody in life that I can promise you're going to fail. That's the only thing I can promise is going to happen to you.
100%.
And it's not about failing. It's about and not about the things that happen to you. It's how you respond to the things that happen to you. You know, life is going to, you know, punch you in the face over and over and over again, but it's how you react and your attitude. You can't control the things that happen to you, but what you can control is your attitude and your focus.
And your reactions.
Yeah.
I think your reactions, and I think I find it so valuable as a creative because you know you're going to just run against a wall and go.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter what kind of creative you are, you're just going to pound that wall and you're like, what do I do? And you
Sure.
just redirect and you let good energy in and you just stay positive and you find ways to find good direction.
Absolutely.
Good energy in your life. And I love that
Absolutely.
you said that. And real quick, have you hiked in Virginia?
So,
So it's one of the most
I've done
greatest places to hike.
I've done the whole Blue Ridge Parkway multiple times. I've hiked in Shenandoah multiple times. I've done a ton of waterfall hikes I've done like Big Stony Falls, Cascade Falls, Devil's Bathtub.
Great Falls?
I haven't done Great Falls yet.
Great Falls is actually a local good one right here. And people undervalue it. I think like it doesn't get enough, like the Virginia side, the Maryland side. So
Sure.
if you ever want to do a good hike with gorgeous waterfalls,
Awesome.
literally you could get up tomorrow from your hotel, go there and be back in like 3 hours.
Awesome.
Do
Yeah.
it.
I spend actually a lot of time. Chicago, best city in the United States, but the surrounding area, it really is.
Chicago's too cold for me. I have a story about it.
But it's a small price to pay. It's a small price to pay to live in Chicago. It's
Why do you think it's the best city? Is that
I mean, how much time do we have? I mean, there's just the music,
the music?
the music,
Yes.
the food, the culture. I mean, the architecture, the museums. It has so much. It's just a big, broad-shouldered American city, and it's the roots of where
I
we're
like the
from.
blue collarness of Chicago.
Absolutely.
So I'm from Philadelphia originally. I've been here since '97, and up north, I think it's just a different, exactly what
Yeah.
you're saying, a different feel of what the American experience is
I
all
agree.
around, and
Yeah.
how the people are raised, and it is very, very different, very industrious, very real.
It's industrious for sure. I mean, there's no denying that, but I mean, it's very cosmopolitan as well. I mean, Chicago is.
I think it's become that way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's more and more and more. I think it always has had a little bit of that, but I mean, it's definitely at its precipice right now, where as
100%.
far as the cosmopolitan kind of aspect to it.
Well,
the
I think
style,
that
the
comes with
fashion,
internet, with TikTok, with Instagram,
yeah,
with Facebook.
I mean, it's a very bougie city. It's almost getting too expensive. I mean, it is. I mean, it's
I think every
so
city
nice.
has
It's
become
Chicago is so
bougie
nice.
that used
Yeah.
to be unbougie.
Yeah. But that being said about the Virginia thing is that the one drawback of Chicago is that we definitely have the Great Lakes, which are amazing.
They're beautiful. I've been.
But the surrounding area it's super flat and super farm. It's all
Yeah.
farms. It's ugly, you know. And so the whole that Indiana, Iowa,
Yeah.
you know, kind of area, Illinois kind of area, it's all the same. So that being said, back to talking about Virginia, is that I do drive down to the Appalachian area
beautiful.
all the time, like
Beautiful.
2 to 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And I know it like better than some people that live here, actually,
Probably
especially
me.
like Western North Carolina area. I'm actually looking for property down there right
Are
now.
you?
Yeah.
I do lending.
What?
I do lending.
Oh, here.
All 50 states, and you see, I'm going to plug
I'm getting
myself, of
pitched.
course.
I'm getting pitched.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous down here. Especially the eastern side of the Blue Ridge, the eastern side of the Appalachians, because it catches all the trade winds coming off the Atlantic, and it's just so lush and so green. The waterfalls are always gushing. It's so many swimming opportunities. It's really awesome down here. I love it.
I went to Washington State, and I drove the whole state. I just went on a whim.
Oh yeah.
And I flew out there. I went and saw Pearl Jam by
Amazing.
myself.
That's
and then
badass.
drove the whole state, and I lost cell phone service. I'm like, I'm definitely dying. I did not.
Yeah.
But what a state, and what an experience of so many different climates. I
Yeah.
couldn't live there. By the time I'm through a whole paragraph, I was telling Carrie, my friend over here out west, because half my family's from California.
Mhm.
We're all hail from Philly, but I'm like, I'm through a whole paragraph, and they're still on sentence 1, and I'm like, yeah, I probably couldn't live there, but it is very cool, and what a state.
I think it's the most beautiful area, maybe even in the world, is the Pacific Northwest. I would actually, if I could live anywhere, I would live there. But it would be, I travel
San Diego.
so much. Not San Diego.
I love San Diego.
I like San Diego.
I
Don't
love
get me wrong.
I
like
love San Diego.
but
I love
most
it.
beautiful, definitely not. I mean, it's nice. The weather's nice.
I just love
But the
like
Pacific Northwest
yeah.
for nature is
Yeah.
is
Oh,
next.
100.
It's unparalleled.
100.
It's Washington, Oregon, Northern California,
Yes.
and in British Columbia. I mean, it's mind blowing. But I travel so much already that I mean, I would live there in a heartbeat. but I would add so much travel time being
Yeah.
in the upper left that it would be like
Let me ask you this, going back to music, how hard is it? You're 15 years in, like, technically to your career, from what I've read. If I'm
Yep.
wrong, please correct me. How is that travel time? How grueling is it after? How do you balance after
it's the
15
coming
years?
home that sucks. I mean, not that like that I'm having like it's the traveling back home when you're tired. Like, and I mean, I was telling Jason this before I came here. I mean, I've had 3 off weekends in the last 16, 17 months.
Holy shit.
And 2 of them were for unfortunate circumstances too, for funerals. So I mean, I've had
sorry.
like 1 off weekend to myself, and it was the weekend after New Year's Eve, which everything is closed. So
Yeah.
it was like nothing was going on anyway. It
Yeah.
wasn't like it was like some glamorous weekend or anything. So
Yeah, which
it's
is probably
never-
a good thing.
it's never the getting there. The getting there is always you're fresh, you're well rested. You know, I'm stoked. You know, like
Yeah.
there are a couple times where I'm like, it does feel like a grind, but then I'm there, and it's just always having those affirmations, talking yourself through it. I mean, this is my dream job, and being, having the gratitude of realizing how lucky I am to do what I do, not even for selfish reasons, but for being able to communicate with people and make people happy through the most powerful energy
Music.
that we have is
Amen.
music.
Amen.
Not to digress, but I tell people all the time, it's kind of a dark metaphor, but I tell people all the time, think of the most evil people in the annals of history: Hitler, Pol Pot, Stalin. Even these people, once a day, multiple times a week, smiled and were happy because of music. Music has the ability to penetrate the most evil soul and make them happy. And so to have that power and to be a muse and to be a something that music has chosen to make people happy and to speak to people, even though I love talking to people one-on-one, to be able to communicate with people on a critical mass scale with this most unbelievable, most powerful tool in our universe, it's an honor. And having the gratitude to have that honor and to do what I do, and going through that self-gratitude and those daily affirmations when I'm traveling, it makes the tough travel days easier. So,
And I agree. Music is my favorite drug. Like, I say that all the
Yeah.
time. I mean, it to me, it is the most powerful connector in the world. Period. The end. I mean that wholeheartedly. It is. I live for it. Yeah, like I literally live
For
for
sure.
it. Anybody that knows me knows I could be like falling asleep in a corner. You put on good music, I'm like, I'm there. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't matter. So I love that you say that, because I do think it's the one thing in the world that still unites us totally.
Absolutely.
Everything else divides us. It brings us together.
Yeah, it does, and
Period,
it does
the
it
end.
in a way that we can't explain. It's just there.
And I love the humility also in what you said. And I want people to pick up on that, because when you get to live out your passion every day, I think a lot of artists, and I get irritated. I've heard DJs say, famous DJs, and I've been privy to this life since I was 11, and I am 49. And I listen to them say, like, I'm just tired tonight, blah, blah. I'm like, these people paid to see you.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing in the world is when I walk in, and I will say, like, I've had conversations with Mark Knight and like all these people throughout their careers, and talk to them, and I'm like, is the journey you take me on? I want that journey.
Yeah.
I want to walk in and I want to hear that set, and I want to hear you take me from here to there and walk away going, wow, that was powerful.
I think that's something. It's interesting you brought that up. I had this conversation with someone last night when in Miami about, and I'm not trying to talk about anyone specifically or point out the younger culture or generation, but
No,
I
that's
started
okay.
on vinyl.
I love
and,
that.
And,
I love that.
I can't. When I was listening
So
to music,
dope.
just for my own personal edification, it was a DJ was a DJ, a producer was a producer, label owners were label owners were label owners, promoters were promoters. Everyone had their own compartmentalized role and task in the industry.
Now it's all encompassing.
And I remember, yeah, that's okay though. I don't mind that. It's just that DJs back then were storytellers. And that's who I learned from. I learned from listening to storyteller DJs, Sasha and Digweed, Steve Lawler, Carl Cox, Eric Murillo, God, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
It was
just had a
so much
conversation
about
with him.
hearing people take you on a journey and tell stories. And I think that, to no one's fault, but the younger generation it lacks that a little bit, where they're just playing bangers. They're playing Beatport Top 10, and it's just track after track instead of thinking about.
But do you think it's the DJ is guilty of that? Is that what you're saying? I feel
I
like
think
I
it's
feel
a-
like DJs have gotten away. So you have DJs that are very. I've listened to the interviews. They're very committed to the journey, and then some are just committed to let me make them raise their cell phones and take this for Insta. So my banger or my hit, my track gets more popular. And I like that certain DJs, like I went to a James Hype Medusa show for New Year's.
Yeah.
They at Echo Stage here in DC, and they put tape over our phone, the stickers.
Yeah, they're doing
no
that in
phone.
Ibiza
And
too.
I
Yeah.
really, it took me back to a time where we used to not worship the DJs, we worshiped the speakers.
Yeah. DJs used to be up in a dark room up in
And
the corner.
we were worshiping I was sitting
Yeah.
in a speaker going, like, I mean, I'm dead serious. Like, that's how it was back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I'm
feel
an
you.
old head. So I think you're right. So continue.
No, I would just I think that's one of the things that I always try to do. One of the reasons I like to play long sets is because I like to take people on a journey. I like to tell stories. We don't pick up a book and read chapter 13 and then chapter 26 and then chapter 1 and then 7. You read it in sequential order. And it's about the character building. It's about the emotional building. It's about the climaxes and the crescendos and the ins and the outs. People, you don't ride a roller coaster that has one hill.
Yeah.
It has lots of hills and lots of valleys.
Yeah.
And that's how it's kind of a metaphor
that.
for life.
I like that.
We don't define ourselves in the peaks of our lives. We define ourselves in the valleys of life. And telling that story through music, just the way you would read a book, is exactly the way you should play your set. And
He's
so-
my new musical crush, guys. Anybody that knows how I feel about music knows this is how I feel. No, I mean, you define what I feel, and anybody really would tell you I'm in love with music. I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
So when you prepare a set, and this is always my curiosity with DJs, how, like, when you're now presenting that set,
Sure.
right? You prepare it to what you think is going to happen, I'm assuming, or what you're feeling in that moment. But when you see a crowd not feeling that moment, how are you adjusting? Because I'm always nervous for you. When I see it, like, no, I'm down there and I can feel the crowd too. And I'm like, oh my God, what are they going to do? And really, I don't know if they're good. Like, they just make it happen.
Sure.
What's happening to you in that moment?
There's so many ancillary aspects
you
that
nervous?
go into it. No, I don't get nervous. Honestly.
You don't?
Nervousness is a byproduct of unpreparedness.
Okay.
If you prepare yourself, then
Okay.
you should never be nervous.
Okay, so what happens?
So, I mean, that's what makes a good DJ is
Yeah.
being able to ebb and flow. I mean, not to use a sports metaphor, but I'm going to.
No, do it. I like sports,
You
too.
know, an NFL or an NBA coach, the people that are at the top of their profession, they don't circle everybody up in a huddle and say, go get them. They have plans. They have a plan A, plan B. They don't know if some player on the other team is going to catch fire or be a lockdown defender. So they have to prepare for that, and they have to have a multitude of outlets and how to prepare for that. So I prepare for my sets the same way.
Yeah.
It's not the universe doesn't operate in a linear pattern, so I don't prepare my sets in a linear pattern. You know, I prepare them in more of a synergetic pattern. So
Nice.
I have, if it's going to need 10 20 tracks, you know, have 60 tracks ready.
Yes.
And so give yourself the ebb and the flow to, you know, go in and change your game plan, so to speak, to use that sports metaphor.
Do you have them ready, or are they on deck? Like, I love listening to Carl Cox go, I just throw that shit up in there and then I just do it. And I'm like, oh God. Like,
it's binary. So there
it?
is a plan, and then there are, last night when I was playing in Miami, a song, an old school song popped in my head, and I'm like, fuck, I'm going to play that right now.
Yes, I like
And
it.
it fit
What was
perfectly.
it? Do
So
you
it was
remember?
Novi Enyaq Pumpin'
Nice.
from 1998.
Okay,
actually.
yeah.
Still a bomb. And I was like playing, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm playing this right now. And so, yeah, you're pulling that out of your, you know, that rabbit out of the hat type thing too. So there is, like I said, it's a binary flow. It's the majority of it is intentional, and also curated for doing your research. Like I said, you know, you shouldn't be nervous because you should do your research in that geographical area and what they like. You know, if I'm playing down in Central or South America or in Mexico, I'm ingratiating my set with more tribal percussive vibes, but also not just being so vanilla that's the only thing that I'm playing through the whole set too. Turn that off, bro.
He's getting very upset. He thinks it's his. Jason, you're so a few more questions. I know
There's a little thing on the side. All you gotta do is turn vibrate on, bro.
the little Jason,
Yeah.
you're used to little things. The little thing. Let's fuck with them. Let's fuck with
All
them.
the sexual innuendos.
No,
I love it.
look.
Anyway.
I'm mad at him. He knows it. I'm mad at him before he walks in. Anyway, so a few questions, off questions, and then I know you have to go on as well. Should we smile? Or are we doing like? Jason, what?
There's a picture happening behind us.
I know. I'm just like,
It's over there. Go
what
get
is
him, kid.
happening? But
Get
I'm
him,
like,
kid.
this
Yeah,
is,
he's a,
so I do a
the dad that
podcast.
leaves his son in the club. I'm the son in this analogy.
Make sure when we do the shorts, we cut that and we'll send it to him. We do shorts off this, we'll cut that and send it to you, and we're
Swear to
going to
God, it leaves
bust
me every
on you
time.
all the
Leaves me
way
every time.
across the board. So, couple more questions. Let's talk about the single real quick. Control.
Oh, cool.
So Jeff, who is an old head, but not, I'm getting him back up to date. I am. I played it for him. He's my best friend, my producer, Tribe Called Jess, which is my podcast, Wylde.
That's what we're on right now.
Well, no, we're Wylde with Jess on the Wylde
shit. I
Style
didn't know
Network.
there was-
Wild,
there's
we're
two.
wild.
No wonder you're making all those sexual comments. This is the X-rated version.
I'm not trying to hit on you,
Wild,
dude.
yes. Get wild.
I don't hit on boys. I wish I did. I wish I hit on boys. I suck. I'm more a dude than a chick. Anyway, I played it. This is going bad.
Proceed. I thought you had a question.
Okay, so Jeff, I played it for him, and he's like, I love this song.
Thanks.
I
Thank you.
did, and I have to give Dan credit. He sent Dan, who's opening for Dub Tiger next week.
Oh, my boy.
He
yeah.
is.
You guys all.
Dan
he's
is
badass.
awesome.
He's badass. You're going to love him. He's
So
so
I
good.
found Dan is a friend, and he sent me a set randomly, and I'm like, send it, Jason. I'm like, are you hearing what I'm hearing? Like, that's sick. So props, Dan.
Cool.
But he is opening for Dub Tiger. Said he released a new song yesterday. Well, I was passed out last night because I'm so tired from work, and I was like, holy shit, this is good.
Thanks.
He listened to it. Who doesn't know Jackola of nowadays? Fair enough. And he goes, "This is so good." So how did that come about? And many props. I like the song as well. It was groovy, percussional.
Yeah, it's very percussive.
I liked it.
It has a staccato bass.
I liked it.
So it's very, very. As you can tell, it's
Liked
like
it.
it's almost like drumline.
Yeah.
Kind of. That's kind of like the
Yeah.
inspiration behind it. It has that like very, very choppy, very chunky, very, very like drum infused. And then with what carries the swing in the track is the offbeat vocals.
Yeah.
So
was good.
So it gives it a little bit of swing. So the swing with the offbeat vocals, along with the very, very choppy staccato drums, just gives it that like constantly moving forward. That gives it the energy behind it. Makes it kind of this inconspicuous energy.
Let me tell you how many times I will watch back what you just said. I love the intricacies of how people make, like creators make music and how that comes about. That was such a cool description. And I heard the percussion. I said that to you, and I said, listen to the percussion in this. Oh my God, it's
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So very cool, and that's available on Beatport.
Yeah, it's out
and-
now. It's on. Got released on my boy DJ Susan's label. DJ Susan, big DJ from West Coast, San Diego
Yep.
area. He's up and coming, doing a lot of good stuff right now. Really, really good guy. If you guys ever bring him out here, he'll be a great interview too. He's such a character.
I love it.
So, but his label is called Hood Politics.
Hood Politics,
Yep,
I
and
read.
it came out
Yep.
on his label too. So, everyone's always like, why don't you just release all your stuff on your label? And it's
Well,
like,
no, I
it's
get
like,
it.
yeah, I honestly, whenever not to. I'm gonna pretend like you asked me a question about my label and just answer it myself.
I did
No,
earlier, but we kind of
Yeah.
deviated and went to the hiking thing.
Yeah, one of the things about my label is that I never wanted it to be a vanity label. I don't disagree if someone has
like
a label. If someone has a label, it's their label. Do
Share
whatever
the
you want.
love.
But I purposely don't release on my label except for like once a year.
Really?
Like, I just had a release.
Now,
on-
why?
Because I want it to be about the label. I want it to be about a platform for me promoting other people, not promoting myself.
I like that.
And
I like that.
and everyone knows it's my label too, and so it's synonymous with me anyway. And so I think that it's more of a feather in my cap about being a good label owner and being a good A&R. And for people to say, oh, he's not just releasing a bunch of stuff, his own music on his label. I want people to look at it incorrect and say, damn, Anthony is a really good label owner and a really good A&R, and he is really promoting really talented other artists, not just himself.
So I want to say this to you. I think that shows character. I think it shows humility. I think it shows support for your other people in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I respect and appreciate
Thank you.
that because I think that's the one thing people forget is we're all about community
Yeah, for
and
sure.
supporting each other. And I do think we forget that within community, whatever profession it is, supporting each other.
Yeah, it's putting
not-
that energy out there in the universe as well.
It'll come back.
It will.
It'll 100% come back. And I love that about you.
Thanks.
And I appreciate you said that. So, final question.
Okay.
And I'm going to get blackout drunk to your set. It better be good. I'll be really upset if it's not. So
This
don't
is
let
the-
me
this is
down,
the X-
Anthony.
remember- This is her X-rated podcast, remember? So
Don't
we
let
can
me
say
down.
Whatever we want.
Don't let me down. Besides hiking, besides music, take all this away. Tell me one thing about you that you think would either surprise people or people don't know about you. Something interesting. I love hearing this about people.
I collect wine. I'm a wine collector.
Okay.
I mean, is that interesting enough?
Interesting.
What do you want me to say? I've got a
Some-
third nipple on my back or something?
I mean, that would be really exciting.
I
Can
don't,
you show
I
us?
don't.
Or what
But
kind
I
of
think
wine?
that's what she wants to hear.
What? No, I don't.
Something nefarious.
Like, what do you think? No, nothing nefarious. I'm actually. I have sold my soul to the devil, guys.
I mean,
So you collect wine.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think
What
that's
kind of
pretty
wine?
interesting. All
That
red-
is interesting.
Red, all reds, California Cabs, Rhone Valley wines, some Bordeaux's, Veneto region, Italian wines, Brunellos. So
Okay, one interesting
I don't know
fact
if that's interesting. I
we
think
all
it's
talked
my
about
favorite thing
you.
ever. So
We all talked about you before you got here, Jeff. Didn't we all talk about him? And I was like, and I'm gonna give you a compliment. I was like, this dude's fucking hot. I hope he's this hot in person. Hold on. And I said, I'm not trying to hit on the dude, but listen. And we decided you're a cross. I said he looks like something off of like a '90s soap opera. Like, and Jeff said, or what's his name? The actor.
Rosdale and Antonio Banderas.
There you go. Gavin Ros.
take
Ladies,
it. I'll
Gavin
take it.
Rosdale, Antonio Banderas.
Shit. All right.
I'm pimping you out.
okay.
Anyway.
Cool. I'll take it. Thank
It
you.
was our pleasure. Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much
having
for
me.
taking the time to sit down with me.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for your
You're-
patience. I had to take a little nap today, so sorry I was late. But
Dude, I
yeah.
get it. I needed a little nap.
Fan question?
Oh, fan question. Okay.
I love Bala,
Yeah.
but what is your favorite song you made?
Oh gosh. You know,
So the question was from a fan. They said, I love Bala. What was the favorite song that Anthony made?
probably a track
Sorry.
probably it's actually coincidental that you asked this because the first track that I released on DJ Susan's label, which is weird because this brings us all full circle, was a track called Blackmail. It was totally different than anything I've ever made, and it's more of a track to listen to than a track to play. I actually never play it, but I listen to it still, which sounds
Should we play
super,
it tonight?
No, I mean we can play. It's
We
more
should.
of just for listening. It's just a track to like listen to and a really good track. It's not a club banger, but I always loved that track. And it's funny that that question came in because I
Came
just
in off the web.
re-released
Yeah.
on DJ Susan's label again for the first time. So the track Control that just came out on Friday is the second release I've had on his label, and the first one was Blackmail, which is probably my favorite one.
Awesome.
And that was like in 2021. So it's like 3 years ago.
That's awesome that we had a fan question, and
Yeah.
thank you. Who was that, Scott? Did they say? I want to thank them.
Thank you.
We want to thank them
Thank you.
for tuning in because
Yeah.
we are live on the Wylde Style Network. We are at 12 after 12, and Anthony is going to go on at what time?
Like 12:30ish.
We think.
Yeah.
We think.
He always like.
Well,
"Come
he'll
on."
probably ditch
I'm
you
always
by
like, "I wanna go on early."
12:45.
He knows this
12:45.
about me. He's like, bro, why do you want to go on early?
He also told us this interview
I'm
was
like,
at 7.
What?
So we were all preparing for 7 p.m.
So you guys been
Jeff and I
sitting
were
here.
no, we partied. Don't worry.
All right,
we
right.
made up for
Yeah.
it.
That's my
tenfold.
fault. That's my fault. I
No,
played
it's
along
not.
set
We don't
last night
care.
and needed a nap. So
Look, we don't care. Jeff and I have been in industry a long time. We're like, we're good. But
Yeah.
anyway, we thank you. We're going to party to your music all night.
Oh.
Hey, guys, if you're down in D.C., come to 12 after 12. Anthony ATALLA. We are here all night. Wylde Style Network. And this is Jess, Wylde with Jess. We'll be here next week. And thank you, Anthony. We appreciate
thanks
it.
for having me.
You're awesome, dude. Thanks.